Okay, for those of you who don't live on the East Coast, we had quite a large snowfall the last few days. Specifically, Boxing Day and the following day. So Sunday, Monday, December 26th, 27th. For example, 20 inches, that's about 50 centimeters of snow fell on New York City. Now, Mayor Bloomberg is under some fire for what he said. Well, this is what he said. We ask the public to do two things in this emergency. Don't call 911 unless it is a serious emergency, and don't drive. Unfortunately, too many people did not listen. For example, New York City 911 operators dealt with close to 50,000 calls. The actual number is about 49,400 911 calls on Monday, the day after the storm. That total is the sixth highest in any one day since the city began keeping statistics. There were 38,000 calls again on Tuesday. Many calls were not for emergencies, and plows couldn't clear the way for ambulances because streets were blocked by abandoned vehicles. Mayor Bloomberg says, "Your car being stuck in the middle of the road makes things worse." In some instances, it took hours to respond to requests for assistance. The New York Fire Department said additional ambulances were on the road and extra firefighters were working, but it wasn't enough to handle the call volume. At one point, they were backlogged by about 1,300 calls. That's right. So many people called into 911 that there was actually a waiting list of over 1,000 calls. So while the fire department is responding to stuck vehicles because somebody just had to go to a after Christmas sale, 1,300 people were left waiting while they dug people out from ditches. And I apologize. This really upsets me. I'm from Nova Scotia, Canada, and despite popular belief, we don't have snow all year round. But when we do get snow, we get a lot of it. On Wednesday, as stories began to surface about people who may have suffered serious medical problems while waiting for ambulances, the mayor was at his most apologetic without actually apologizing. And I don't blame him. Mayor Bloomberg said, "We did not do as good a job as we had wanted to do, and as the city has a right to expect. There's no question. We are an administration that has been built on accountability. When it works, and we will take credit. And when it doesn't work, we will stand up and we will say, okay, we'll find out what went wrong." So, yeah, he's not apologizing for saying that New Yorkers screwed up. They were told not to call 911 unless it was an emergency, a real emergency, and not being able to go to an after-Christmas sale is not an emergency, folks. Unless you are having a friggin' heart attack or a stroke or somebody's choking them, or, you know what I mean? Unless it is a real emergency, a real honest-to-goodness emergency, then don't call 911. Mayor Bloomberg asked the city to do two things. Don't call 911 unless it's a real emergency, and don't drive. They didn't listen. I don't think he should have to apologize. I really don't. Seriously, he's being criticized for telling people that they should listen to the governing powers. How foolish can some people be when it comes to snow? It's really very simple. If there's enough snow that you can't see the bottoms of your hubcaps, basically, if the snow is up past the bottom of your hubcap, there's too much snow to drive. Calling a 911 is not going to get some cute fireman to come out and shovel your driveway. It could, however, result in a hefty fine for you. So if your hubcaps have snow on them, if you can't see the bottom of them, too much snow to drive. That's clue number one. Clue number two would be take public transit. If the buses aren't running, there's your second clue that you shouldn't be out there driving, okay? There's too much snow. It's really very simple, folks. One final thought on snowfall and driving. Remember that just because you have a 4x4, four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, whatever they call it in your area or whatever your vehicle is referred to, just because you have four-wheel drive does not mean that you're going to be able to stop any better than someone with two-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive just means that all four wheels engage with power at the same time. It gives you a little more oomph when going through snow drifts and up snowy hills and things like that. But it's not any better stopping-wise. So you still need to drive slowly and cautiously, okay? So thank you and have a happy new year, everyone.